Hey fourth graders, Mr. Bell here. Alright, let's get started on your next project. You are going to make a desert landscape. Let's take a look at some terms you need to think about while working on this project. And when you're thinking of the desert in the United States, think of the southwest region of our country. Alright? So let's take a little look at this map here and make sure you have a good understanding of where the southwest region is. And we're in the southeast. There's Georgia, Florida, Alabama. This is the southeast. There's your northeast and your northwest. And we're going down here to the southwest. And this is where you'll find the desert in the United States of America, especially Arizona, Utah, and Nevada, Southern California, New Mexico, part of Colorado. The desert sort of goes in this little area around here. So think of Phoenix, Arizona, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas is about right there. Think about that when you're making your desert landscape. And I also want you to think about using your foreground, middle ground, and background in your picture. And these terms here, your horizon line, vanishing point, 1-point perspective, I'll be talking about that as well, and blending colors, and rural versus urban. All right, you can have a little bit of both in this picture. Let me show you one that a student made. This is a student who moved and didn't get a chance to get their artwork before they left. And if there's a good example, I usually hang on to it and I can use it in the future for people to look at. And here's a good example of a desert landscape. And you will see 1-point perspective, and also known as your vanishing point, off in the distance. So this road, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, goes off to this vanishing point. Okay, there's your horizon line going across here. You'll see some things in the desert that you would see, like a cactus. There's desert floor cactus, some saguaros. Cactus, there's a little snake there, a little scorpion. This person added a plane in the sky. And there's your urban area. Your downtown, your city is your urban. And out here, out in the country, away from the city, is your rural area. So you need to have both. And there's some skyscrapers here, you know. Put some shorter ones, some medium size, and some taller ones. And you'll see lots of blending going on here too. And the desert, a lot of times off in the distance, the mountains look kind of a purplish. So this person blended some purple in with the brown. They could have used a little more purple, I think. But, you know, if you look closely, you'll see some purple in there. And the sky, make you a little sunset like this. You put it wherever you want along. And so it's coming up, or setting behind these mountains actually, and blend some blues and some oranges and whatnot in the sky. Okay? You can add some birds if you want. Notice the cactus gets smaller and smaller the further away they get, bigger up close. And might want to try drawing a pueblo in your picture. All right. If you draw a car or a truck or something, you know, make it going sideways this way. To draw one this way, the perspective of doing that is, I don't have time to teach all that in this particular project. You can look it up on the internet and see some videos on how to do that. It's a very difficult thing to do, but or you can just make it look really lonely, like there's no one out there outside the city. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You'll need a sheet of paper, of course. And, you know, I would start halfway for your horizon line, or a little bit higher, maybe. This person started halfway. I'm going to go a little bit higher. And make your line across, draw your line across there. If you really want to make sure it's straight, you can use a ruler, or you can fold your paper and put a little crease there. And open it up, flatten it out. There we go. And that's a good starting point right there. So you can draw your horizon line across there. And it depends on what you want to start with. You can start with your road and cactus and work your way back, or you can start with your city and your desert style mountains and then work your way downward. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to, well, You want to definitely find your vanishing point so you know where the middle is, because you want most of your buildings to be in this area. Okay? I'm just going to go in here and start. These are off in the distance. You don't need that much detail. I'm going to put some different size rectangles and squares. Maybe put a bigger one like this, a little dome on it. Maybe that's a basketball arena or where a football team plays. You know, get some little detail in there. You know, make it look like there's some windows and stuff. All right, and put a little water tower up there, and just little things like this. Make it look like a city. And some middle ground buildings. We'll have some that are behind these buildings. We don't see the bottom of them. They're behind those. They're at ground level. Think about some different styles that you want to have on there. And then you can put some skyscrapers back here, some taller ones that are more off in the distance towards the center of the city. And just think about, use your imagination. Try to keep your lines straight. Don't do what I just did. It's the end of the day. I'm kind of tired. There we go. You can get as creative as you want with what these buildings look like. And, you know, you can add some. These are further away, so I'm going to put the lines closer together so it looks like it's off in the distance. So I'll add some more detail to these buildings in a little bit. Let me shift my body over here so I can see what I'm doing a little better. When I draw from the side, sometimes the lines look straight, but they're not. There we go. And bring these out to here. So I'm going to work on these some more, and I'm going to add some little desert-style mountains. Sort of jiggity-jaggedy like this. Something you might see in Phoenix, Arizona, or somewhere. You can add more buildings off on the side, too. Maybe there's a little factory or something over here. All right. And I'm very lightly going to sketch a semicircle here. That's for my sunset. All right. Now I've got this part here, and I am going to draw my perspective, my vanishing points out here. And the road's going to get bigger and bigger as it comes this way. Okay? Maybe I want to make it a little bit wider. That was a little thin. There we go. I can erase these lines. There we go. It's better to draw lightly. You can erase it more easily. And I'm very lightly going to put a line down the middle here. That's just a guideline, because I'm going to draw the little dashes in the road. And as I'm working my way to the vanishing point, these are going to get shorter and narrower as I'm getting further and further away, because we're in the foreground here. There's your background as these dashes go through the middle ground. You want to bring them closer and closer together, make them narrower, narrower. Make sure you have a really sharp pencil to do this part. If you were standing in the middle of this road out in the desert, and these would actually look like they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay. We'll add you can add a crossroad like this person did if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm just going to put one on this side. Right, and if you want to draw a little pueblo like this, which you'll see out in the desert in some places, There's not many left, but you could add something like that there if you want, and make sure it, so you're here so you can see the left side and the front, and you're up in the air, maybe in a helicopter going towards the city, so you can see all these details. Right, I put a ladder going up to the top, a little opening there, crawling a ladder to get down in there. You got some timber or beams going across the top there. Alright, so there's some stuff you can add. Some saguaro cactus. Make sure they're really small off in the distance, and they get bigger and bigger as they get closer to you. Alright, put some little dots in there so it looks like it has needles. And when it gets closer, I can actually draw some little needles. Put some little bushes. There are the scrub brush and bushes that grow out in the desert, so you can add some little plant life and stuff. It's surprisingly large amount of bushes and wildlife does grow out in the desert. When you're here in the foreground, you definitely want your saguaro cactus. It's going to be a lot taller. You can have just 2 arms. You can have 3. Some of them grow a lot. You'd be surprised. Some little needles all over it. Make it look kind of realistic. And you can add snakes and all that kind of stuff. So things are going off in the distance and getting smaller further away. Put some clouds up here and things like that. So you got these kind of cactus too. Sometimes the flowers grow on them at certain times of the year. They have a lot of needles on them also. So I'm going to keep adding some more stuff like that to the picture. Okay, so I've added some sagebrush and some rock formations, all the needles on the cactus. I added a little truck. Got my pueblo here. Let me shadow that in there. Details on my buildings, clouds, sun, a couple of snakes. All right, so once you get everything on there that you want, you start coloring. Pick the color that you want to make things, and cactus and, maybe some flowers there. You brighten it up a little bit. All right, so you want to color all that stuff in the ground. You get a little brown here, and don't color it too dark, Your mountains, of course. Color these and, add some, get some purple and blend some purple in there in the mountains. Not down on the ground, just leave that brown. Add some purple in the mountains with the brown, and your sky, make your sky blue and add some orange in there. Get a little nice sunset looking thing, and get some color in your sun with the yellow, and blend some orange in with it. Really make it look like a sunset. Got your clouds here. You can use your pencil and get a little bit of gray in there and blend in some. You got pink and orange and yellow. You can add some pink to your sky too. Get some yellow in there too, maybe. Brighten them up. You want them to pop. Alright, your buildings can be all kinds of different colors. Your pueblo, you could blend some, get some brown in there and blend a little bit of orange in there so it looks a little different than the ground in the background. These are all things that you can do to make it stand out some more. Okay, I'm all finished coloring it. Noticed I added some shadows. You can add those if you want to. Make sure they're going in the correct direction. All right. Freeze this when you need to take a closer look at it. Just press pause and zoom in whatever you need to. And okay, you have a good time with this desert landscape with the vanishing point and the perspective and everything. And don't forget to blend those colors. All right. Have a good time. I can't wait to see yours. Bye-bye.